Welcome back for another deep dive with us. Love is something we all think about and talk about. But today we're going to be diving into a perspective on love that you might not have heard before.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique take.
So we're going to be exploring the writings of Fethullah Gulen.
A Turkish Islamic scholar.
Right, a preacher and writer who offers some really fascinating insights on love.
Yeah, and I think, a lot of people might not be familiar with his work.
Yeah.
But he's really known for promoting interfaith dialogue, service to humanity and education. And it's really within that broader context, I think, that his ideas on love become especially relevant today.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this deep dive so interesting to me. We're working with an excerpt from his official website, just simply titled Love, straight to the point.
No messing around?
And right from the first line, he comes out strong. He says love is the most essential element of existence. And he's not talking about, butterflies in your stomach.
Puppy love.
No, not like a fleeting feeling, right?
Yeah.
He's talking about something much deeper.
A force, a driving force.
Right? Like this radiant light, this power that can withstand anything.
It's almost like he's saying it's the foundation of everything.
Yeah.
Of all existence.
Right, and you know what else he talks about? How souls that have been touched by love are kind of compelled to share that experience, to almost inspire others with what they've learned from it.
To spread the love.
He even says that they utter the word love in their final moments and even upon resurrection. That's powerful.
Yeah, it's like this defining characteristic of their being, their legacy almost,
It really makes you think about, what does it mean to live a life that's truly dedicated to love?
Right.
Like, is it about these grand gestures? Or is it about those small, everyday acts of kindness?
Yeah, and does it require sacrifice? To what extent?
And he doesn't stop there.
It keeps going.
He says that a life without love cannot achieve human perfection, even if it spans centuries. So it's not just about feeling good, right? He's connecting it to our very potential as human beings.
He's saying it's essential to growth, to becoming who we're meant to be. Without it, we're incomplete, no matter how long we live or what we achieve.
And I love how he uses all these vivid images from nature to illustrate this. He talks about the warmth of the sun, the cycle of water, evaporating and then returning as rain, flowers blooming, dewdrops glistening, even animals frolicking.
He's painting a picture.
It's in look around love. It isn't just a human construct. It's everywhere. It's woven into the fabric of the universe. It's this inherent force driving creation.
It's not just an emotion. It's much bigger than that.
And then he brings up this really interesting example, Layla and Majnun.
Oh, yeah, the legendary lovers.
Right, from Arabic literature. And he uses their story, leaving their homes, experiencing heartbreak, all for this profound love to kind of show the lengths to which love can drive people.
And he makes this point that to those who haven't awakened to this deep inner love, those actions might seem crazy, like madness.
Yeah, almost like they're speaking a different language.
Right? Love operates on
Yeah.
a different level of intensity, and that can be baffling if you haven't experienced it fully.
And this leads him to talk about altruism, which he links directly to love. He says those with the most love become these heroes of humanity. They're the ones who can conquer hatred and rancor. And he says these individuals, they continue to impact the world even after death.
He's drawing a distinction here. He's saying love isn't passive, it's active. It compels you to do something.
Right. It's about action. It's about making choices to benefit others, to fight injustice, to leave the world better than you found it.
It manifests in our deeds.
And the cool thing is he gives really concrete examples. He talks about a mother's love for her child, individuals dedicating their lives to making others happy, and even those who strive for the well-being of all humanity.
Right, so he's showing us that there's this whole spectrum of love.
From the personal
to the universal.
And all of it has the power to inspire and uplift, to drive positive change.
It's a powerful message.
He then says something really bold. He claims that love is the most direct path to people's hearts. And he even compares it to the way of the prophets.
That's a strong statement.
It is. Think about it, though, in a world that's so often driven by conflict and division. Approaching others with love, with genuine compassion, with understanding, that can be revolutionary.
It can break down barriers. It can open hearts and minds.
It can lead to greater understanding, greater harmony. And he ends this section with this powerful image that love is the key to God's pleasure. He even offers a prayer, asking God to fill hearts with love. and compassion, especially in times when there's so much hatred and rancor in the world.
He's reminding us that love isn't just this feeling. It has a spiritual dimension too. It connects us to something bigger than ourselves.
And in that connection, I think we find strength and hope. Wow, there's so much to unpack here. I'm already seeing love in a whole new light. It's not just a feeling, it's a force for good in the world.
It really is. And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore in Gulen's perspective.
It's amazing how Gulen can tap into this universal human longing for connection, and for something bigger than ourselves. It's no wonder that his words resonate with people from all different backgrounds. He's speaking to something that's fundamental to the human experience.
Yeah, it's that universality that makes his writing so powerful. These profound truths about love that he articulates, they go beyond any specific culture or belief system.
He's reminding us that even though we're all different, love is this common thread that binds us together.
And it's that shared experience, that recognition that we're all interconnected, that can really drive positive change in the world.
Remember how Gulen talked about those who are touched by love, striving to inspire others, even uttering the word love in their final moments? Yeah, it's like love becomes their legacy,
Their impact on the world.
their lasting impact.
It makes you wonder, how do we embody that kind of love? If love really is this transformative force, how do we make it an active principle in our everyday lives?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But Gulen does give us some clues. Remember how he talked about the sacrifices love might entail, the hardships we might have to endure to spread it? I mean, it's not always easy.
No, it's not a walk in the park. He's challenging us to go beyond just feeling love. He wants us to think about what it means for our actions, our choices, even our willingness to get out of our comfort zones.
Like those heroes of humanity he talked about, the ones who dedicate their lives to others, to the happiness of other people, or to the well-being of all humanity. They really embody what it means to live a life infused with love, letting it guide them.
And those individuals, they're not necessarily superhuman. They're just ordinary people who make extraordinary choices because love compels them to act, to make a difference. Gulen seems to be suggesting that real heroism isn't about these grand gestures. It's about those everyday choices to choose love and compassion in our actions.
That's what's really interesting to me, how Gulen is pushing us to think about love beyond just romantic love or even familial love. He wants us to embrace this much bigger, more selfless kind of love that includes all beings.
He's reminding us that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice, a commitment to acting in ways that benefit others, even when it's tough, even when it means sacrifice.
And that brings us back to his point about love being this direct path to people's hearts, a path comparable to that of the prophets.
Think about it this way. In a world that's often driven by fear, anger, self-interest, approaching others with love, that can be a radical act.
It's a completely different way of being.
It can break down barriers, it can dissolve prejudices, and create real connection.
But I have to admit, sometimes it feels so much easier said than done, especially when the world can feel so harsh. And it's easy to get caught up in all the negativity and cynicism around us. How do we stay connected to that loving energy, especially when faced with all the suffering and injustice in the world?
I think that's where Gulen's insights about love's presence in nature are so important. Remember all those vivid descriptions he gave about the sun's warmth, the life-giving rain, the flowers blooming.
Yeah, he's reminding us that love is all around us. It's a fundamental force that's woven into the fabric of the universe.
But are we open to seeing it?
Are we open to feeling it?
He's inviting us to cultivate a sense of awe and wonder, to see how everything's interconnected, and to recognize that same love within ourselves. It's a process of waking up and becoming more attuned to the subtle ways that love is already present in our lives.
So it's not just about looking outwards, it's also about looking inwards, cultivating that source of love and compassion within us.
It goes right back to his point about love being the most direct path to people's hearts, like the path of the prophets. Can you imagine what the world would be like if we approached every single interaction with that level of love and understanding?
It's a pretty radical idea, isn't it? In a world that's so focused on division and self-interest leading with love, that can be a truly revolutionary act.
It really can. It's a complete shift in perspective. Gulen is challenging us to move beyond this idea of separation, to stop seeing the world as just a bunch of individuals and start recognizing our interconnectedness.
We're all part of this web of life, sharing the same basic needs, the same desires.
He's urging us to remember that shared humanity,
Yeah.
that fundamental connection that goes beyond all of our differences. And it's in that recognition that we find the wellspring of empathy and compassion.
And right, it's those everyday choices that we make. Choosing love over indifference, choosing kindness over judgment, choosing compassion over apathy.
It's about being mindful, intentional.
Gulen's message is one of hope. It's a reminder that even in the midst of all the darkness and division in the world, love is still the most powerful force for positive change.
And when we cultivate that love within ourselves and then extend it outwards, we become agents of that change. We
Right.
become the weavers of love and compassion in the world.
This deep dive has been so insightful. Gulen's words have really helped me see love in a new way, not just as a feeling, but as this force for good, a force that can transform both ourselves and the world around us.
I'm so glad to hear that. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want you to consider, how can you apply Gulen's insights to your own life? How can you approach your interactions, your choices, even just your understanding of the world with love as your guiding principle?
It's a journey, isn't it? But remember, love doesn't always have to be these grand gestures. It can be found in the smallest acts of kindness, in the everyday choices we make to show compassion and understanding to others.
What a beautiful thought. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep spreading the love.